We will move to the third chapter after digestion. If you have any doubt related to that chapter, please put a message wherever I am posting the videos. So it will be good for me also to understand how many of you have studied or not. So please keep a face of reading. We know the situations. Okay, the next thing we are moving to the plant kingdom. In plant kingdom, here we will be discussing more about the evolution of the plant, that means systemic evolution, how the plant, how we are came to this gymnosperms and angiosperms. What are the ancestors of those plants and how they have survived and what are the methods we have used inside that. That is what we are mainly discussing about. So before entering to this, uh, the classification system where we are studying and arranging them according to their similarities. There are two types of classifications are there basically. One is known as artificial classification and another one is known as a natural classification. This artificial classification was already followed by Linnaeus. So what was Linnaeus was done is he has did the classification on the basis of the external features in the means sexual characteristics and vegetative things, vegetative part. But there is one problem is there, this vegetative part of the plant we can't, every time we can't trust on it, it will be keep on changing. So we have shared, then an updated version came of that which is known as a natural system of classification. In this, they are not considering not only the external features, but they are considering the internal features also. So one of such classification still in the Commonwealth countries, in which India is also included. One such classification is known as the Bentham and Hooker classification. In Bentham and Hooker, they are classified on the basis of the pistil number, pistil shape, then cotyledons, dicot, monocot, and wherever I have given these notes, I have given a brief of, not even brief, it is the full elaboration of what this Bentham and Hooker has done in this natural classification. So you don't want to study the full thing, just to read the front part, what this Bentham and Hooker did. That's it. And next one is that at present we are running on this phylogenetic classification, that is on the basis of evolutionary studies. So for this evolutionary studies, we will be checking for the common ancestors. And in order to find out these common ancestors, we will be used with the help of fossils. We will be using DNA analysis, DNA techniques will be used, and we'll be using the homologous and analogous. So from all these things, they will come to know that before the evolution of this particular species, there was a common ancestor. And that was little more updated or by the use of this computers and other technique. For example, this when these computers came to this existence, uh, now we have to just give a code or a number, and when we that code or a number may be universal or it may be used inside one particular area. So when we put for a code of that, the computer it already search for it, so which we can call it as a numerical taxonomy. And cytotaxonomy is based upon the informations from the cell, that is chromosome number, its structure and behavior. And chemotaxonomy is based upon the chemical constituents of a plant. So on this base, the first and the least one, that is algae. And if you see this algae, these algae are autotrophic in nature and they are aquatic. We can see algae in both in fresh waters and even in the oceans, both, that is in marine forms we can see them. Then we can see this Algae is living on a moist soil, on a wood top, and sometimes there will be associations, symbiotic associations, many things. And when we see up into the cells of this algae, they are unicellular in nature, and they are photosynthetic. Some of them are filamentous in nature, and some of these are very wide bodied like kelps and all. When you see this channels like National Geography and all, you can see these kelps are not available to see in our common area, but calmadomonas and other things we can see when we check with the under microscope. The freshwater when we collect and observe under the microscope, we can see some of them, not every time. We can see few of them living. And next thing is the reproduction of this algae. So when you see look into this algae reproduce by both asexual and sexual methods, and most commonly the in asexual method they will be producing the spores, and these spores are motile. Since they are motile, they are called as zoospores, and there are different types of spores are formed. One form spore is isogamous in nature. Iso means same, gamous means gametes. They are in same size, but non-motile in nature, non-flagellated and non-motile in nature. And another one is unisogamous. That means fusion of two dissimilar gametes in the size, so they are known as unisogamous. And another one is a fusion of one large with a non-motile female gametes, which we known as oogamous. In that means the female part, that is the ovum, will be big, and the male part, that is the sperm, will be small compared to the female. And the female part will be non-motile, and the male part will be motile. So those type of known as oogamous. So these oogamous we can see in humans also. So these are the main things that we are coming under this. And next one comes is the importance of this algae and why, what are the uses of this algae. See, algae are used in many ways. One of the thing is that since these algae are having some structures inside that called as pyrenoids, they can convert or fix the sunlight, and they can do the same photosynthesis what is taking place inside these plants, so they can do that. And on the another way, many of these algae are used as food, and many of the parts of these algae are used as in agar. For example, caragens, red algae, they are used in this agar. And according to their classes, according to their color, especially on the base of this color, these algae are divided into three. One is known as chlorophysae, phaeophysae, and another one is rhodophysae. It is very simple. Chloro means they are green in color, phio means brown in color, and rhodo means red in color. That is a main thing. And once you see this, when we coming to the chlorophysae, it is very easy. They are unicellular but green in color because they can fix sunlight. And more, and especially the chlorophyll that is present is chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B, that is present inside that. And if you see the reproduction of this, they will be reproduced by fragmentation, zoospores, and sometimes they produce sex cells, isogamous, any one of this. And the best example for this is Chlamydomonas and Volvox. And Phaeophysae, which means brown in color. Phaeos means brown. And these are mostly marine habitats. We can't see much of them in fresh waters. And they are also filamentous and branched and kelped. Kelps is one of the example, largest one that can grow in the maximum height, and it possesses chlorophyll, and mostly the chlorophyll is A and C, and in chlorophyll the chlorophyll is A and B, the same pigment that we can see in the plants also. Then apart from that, they have carotenoids and xanthophylls inside that. And The fucoxanthins are also present, and the food are stored in the basis of carbohydrate, and they produces this algine, that means cellulosic algine, which is gelatinous in nature. And once you see this plant is very interesting. You can see this plant like this. That is why they're considered as the primitives of the plant kingdom. Yeah. So when you see into this second part, it is the picture of this phyophyce, and the first one is chlorophyce, where Calmadomonas is coming. And if you see here in the B part, you can see that these are very simple, and they are having a very simple structure known as holdfast, which resembles the stem. Not stem, we can say it as the root part in some conditions. And if you see them, they have the air bladders inside that fronds. That means the leaves are very broader in nature, and they have midrib. And if you see them, they resembles the primitive form of a plant by showing this midrib frond and air bladder, and they are brown in color. And this hold fast help them to hold on to some rocks or on some substrates, so that they can grow very faster in water. And why these they are having air bladders, because they can float on the surface of water, so that the fixing of the sunlight will be very easy. So these structures we can see on them. And when we are coming to this reproduction part, they will be showing both asexual and sexual reproduction. In asexual reproduction, most of them produces the zoospores, biflagellated zoospores. And the sexual reproduction may be isogamous or unisogamous. It depends upon this organisms which they are. So these are the main thing. The next one is rhodophysae. Rhodophysae means red algae. And what is the importance is that they contains the pigment known as phycoerythrin. And the chlorophylls are A and D, mainly they are A and D. And they are found in the well lighted and very surface of the water, we can see them. And if you see them, they have a very organized thallus, and they store the food on the base in the form of fluoride and starch. And when you come to this reproduction of this rhodophysae, they are vegetatively by fragmentation, and they produce non-motile spores, sexual motile spores, and the sexual reproduction also can be seen inside this. So these are mainly the difference upon this rhodophysae, phyophysae, and chlorophysae, especially the algae. So if you get any doubts, please contact me or send me a message or something wherever it's posting. And these tables are very much important. They are the summary of what we have read on the top. So it is very difficult to remember all each and every words what we have read, but the main things they have summarized in this tabular format. So try to go through this. And if for the CBSE point of view, or if you're preparing any entrance examination or anything, many questions can fall from this tabular columns in any ways it can come. So after reading those sentences, please go through this tabular column also. Any doubts, revert back. Thank you.